They were supposed to go before the break, but they weren't here. So we'll be taking their debate again, the entire debate.
Okay, so yes. So 9A and 5B, I'll once again in brief tell you the instructions because 5B you weren't there. 9A you'll be speaking for the motion, and 5B you'll be speaking against the motion. I repeat, 9A for the motion and 5B against the motion. And when you start 9A, so I'll give you the start plug cards and you'll begin that way. And you'll speak for 5 minutes, and 5B you'll be speaking for 7 minutes including the rebuttal. And when you start, I'll show you plug cards like this: start, and then I'll notify you when 1 minute is remaining, and I'll tell you to stop at the 7th minute. After that, we'll again go back to 9A, and 9A will do the rebuttal, which will be for 2 minutes, and then the debate would end. Am I clear with the instructions so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So 9A will begin with judges. May I have your permission to start the debate? Okay. So 9.
Please give me a countdown.
Yeah. I'll do that, of course. So you'll go in 3, 2, 1, start.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I'll be speaking for the motion that capital punishment is a boon. I'll start off by defining the most important term of this debate, that is capital punishment. Capital punishment, also called death penalty, means execution of an offender sentenced to death after conviction by a court of law. It is the most severe form of punishment. It is the punishment awarded to those offenders who commit the most heinous, grievous, and detestable crimes against humanity. I'd like to draw your attention to these 3 adjectives that I've used, because it's really important for this debate to understand that we're not concerned with petty offenses, but with offenses that shake the foundations of humanity. So the burden of proof on my end is to establish that the mere existence, the availability of the option of capital punishment is beneficial for the society and would ensure the well-being of the people. I'll do so by doing a stakeholders analysis. So there are 3 main stakeholders of this debate, and I'll prove to you how each one of them is better off in my paradigm. The first stakeholder is the person who has committed the offense. Now we have to keep in mind that he has not committed a general or regular offense. He has committed an offense which is of horrible and heinous nature. So let's assume that a person has been sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison, and it can be expected that he would be ousted from the society. So anyway, he would be living a life which is at par with death. In the second scenario, let's assume that a person has been sentenced to life imprisonment, but he is a person who has conscience. So every day in that life imprisonment, he would feel pain, misery, regret, remorse. So anyway, he is pretty much dying every day. In the third scenario, let's assume a person who doesn't have any conscience. So it is quite questionable whether such a person should even have the right to live, because he has already detached himself from the humane values of mankind. So it can be concluded that even offenders who are committing these crimes are better off in a paradigm which accepts that capital punishment is a boon. The second stakeholder in this debate is the society. We have to keep in mind that we're not living in the state of nature where everybody has equal rights and they can extend their liberty to the extent of encroaching upon others' liberty. We're living in a civilized society, and as rightly pointed out by John Rawls, that justice is when equal rights are extended to the most extensive liberty compatible with the similar liberty of others. If one person is depriving the other of their right to life, dignity, and liberty, then that person should have a punishment that is at par with what he's depriving the other person for. If we do not serve it, then what kind of message are we relaying to the society, to the victim? If the victim hasn't survived, what kind of message are we relaying to their family? That the right of the prisoner took primacy over the right of the victim. So to ensure that right to life and liberty is propagated, is guaranteed in a society, it's really important that capital punishment exists.